Hello, my name's Alyssa Montgomery, and I am a filmmaker and photographer. I attend New Beginnings Uniting Church. Yeah, so every Sunday morning I am one of the camera operators for live streaming church every week to our congregation who prefers to watch online. And I also help throughout the week filming different things like church news or certain testimony series. So yeah, I do a lot of filming for the church, within the church, and during church. So other than filming, I am also a part of the young adults crew, and we help organise events for weekend nights, fun things to do. I'm also just here a part of the church, talking to people, whoever needs it. I enjoy being there for people. Have I been a Christian my entire life? Well, I grew up in a Christian family, and I've just been a part of the church from, the point of, childhood. So I think on the outside, yes, but on the inside, maybe not, especially since I've been learning. And when you're young, you don't really know who you are, let alone who Jesus is. And you're trying to, I guess it's one of those things where you can't really say you've been a Christian your entire life, because you don't really feel the weight of what Jesus did for you until that moment where it all just clicks. So yes and no. I have been a part of the Christian life, but I haven't been a Christian my whole life. Well, so one definitive moment for me was when God came to me in a prophetic dream. I didn't realize it was a dream or message from God at the time, but I could tell there was something very different about this particular dream. And it confused me because I had no idea what it was, because God, He likes to use symbolic kind of things in your life to give you clues as to what's going on. So basically God told me in a dream essentially that I was going to be attacked by the enemy, but in that dream God also gave me the tools and the tools and the knowledge in how to overcome this spiritual attack. So 2 days later, when it did happen in the form of an insane panic attack, I was able to distract the enemy and message about 5 or 6 friends and just ask them to pray for me in that moment. And it just, like a few seconds later, it felt like someone had just opened up my airways and was just feeding me fresh, cold air, as if I was very thirsty, and I just dehydrated, and I couldn't couldn't find the water that I needed, and then it was like just gushing air into my lungs, and it was amazing. And that moment I was just like, wow, like that is incredible, that is amazing, that is God. That is God working in my life in a big way, working with me. So God, I feel like, uses me unexpectedly all the time. And in moments where it is unexpected as well, because I don't think about it too much in the moment. But I think people have told me that I am a good listener. And so I think God uses me to be his ears and listen to people's problems, where people are at, what people are struggling with. I feel like God gives me that. God puts me in those places with those people that need me there. And it's really great because then I can give all of that to God. And sometimes in those conversations, I'll feel the Holy Spirit stirring inside me, and I'll feel the Holy Spirit talking to them through me. And I'll say things that I was like, and I'll be really surprised by that. I was like, hang on, did I say that? I'll be really surprised at the things that the Holy Spirit will kind of like push me to kind of say to people. And in that moment, it's almost like it's the perfect thing that needs to be said, or it's just something that they really needed to hear. So I feel like there's been a lot of moments like that. And then in terms of a specific moment where God's used me unexpectedly, has been right here in the church car park, where one day it was just before church, I was just quickly like doing some makeup, and then I got out of the car and there's this other girl there, standing there, and I was like, oh, who's that? And I went over and said hello, and I was like, oh, are you here for church? And she was like, yeah, I know Caleb. And I was like, oh, cool. And you know, she introduced herself and stuff, and I had no idea, you know, what her past was or who she was or what she's been through. But I just saw her, and she just looked a little bit lost. So I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna jump in and say hey. And turns out that was her first time ever coming to church, and that was Morgan. And you know, I'll let her tell her story. But she's an incredible person, incredible human being, and she's since told me, you know, that was a big moment for her, because all she saw was like this, you know, scary church girl coming towards her in a church car park. And she was a little unsure about this whole God thing, this whole faith thing. So that was a really cool moment that God kind of used me in without me realizing. I think I was, or I am, one of those people that has helped Morgan in her faith journey and is helping her. But I'm one. I'm not, it's not just me, it's so many more people who are helping her. And that's the thing, God uses not just one person at times. God uses multiple people that He's placed around that person for their life in that moment. And that's amazing. That's how God works. So a moment when God has used other people unexpectedly in my life. So I was driving my parents' car for my dad to then pick up because he was coming home from the airport. And I was going to catch a train back to where I live because it was my sister's formal that day and I was going to be taking photos. So I drive the car, park it, and then I realized my stupidity that I didn't have enough time to get from the car and where I'd parked it and get to the train station, because there was one train in particular that I had to catch in order to make it back to Adele's school formal photos. Now, I was just in a panic. It was the hottest day. And I have bags upon bags, my camera gear, my laptop, everything, and I am panicking. I'm praying to God. I'm like, I don't know how you can do it, but Lord, help me get this train. Help me get this train. And it was almost like God was like, all right, I'm going to show you just how perfect my timing is. Because I think it was a 15-minute walk and the train was gonna get there in 8 minutes or something like that. It was ridiculous, you know, everything was working against me. Anyway, so I'm just like looking around, trying to find maybe a taxi or something. And then a taxi does actually come around the corner. And I'm like, perfect. So I wave the taxi down. And he's right in front of me, stopped at the traffic lights. And I'm like, you know, come on, like, please, like, let me in. And he's just going like, no, I can't let you in. And I'm like, please, like pleading with this guy. And he winds down the window. He's like, hi, like, you know, I can't take you. I'm not a taxi driver. And I was like, please, I just need to get to the station. It's just a few minutes away. Please. He's like, all right, come on in. And I get in the car, and so I'm in a taxi. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then I'm just starting to have this conversation with this guy. And I was like, so you're driving a taxi, but you're not a taxi driver. What are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm a mechanic. I'm, you know, just taking the car around for a test drive. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Anyway, get to the station, park. I don't have to pay him because he's not a taxi driver. I get out of the car and I'm like running up the stairs. And as the train is pulling in, I'm running down the stairs. I get on that train just in time and I sit down and I just think, wow. Wow, okay, all right, God, I get it. You know, your timing is perfect. And he used that taxi driver that wasn't really a taxi driver in my time of need. Yeah, and it also shows God's sense of humor as well, I think. I think I expect God to use me unexpectedly in day-to-day moments. And so it's not very surprising when he does. Because that's what God does. And, you know, if we align ourselves with God vertically, we can share his Holy Spirit with people horizontally. And if we all do that, then God's just going to be with us and using us all the time.